Where can you find Abraham Lincoln's stovepipe hat?
The Star-Spangled Banner.
And Dorothy's ruby red slippers from The Wizard of Oz.
Find out next on Sarah's Wiki Corner podcast.
It is time for Sarah's Wiki Corner. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
Hello, your Wiki Corner today brought to you by Niblack Foods of the Genesee Valley Regional Market. What are we learning about on today's Wiki Corner?
So we're continuing our theme week on the haunted history of 5 American landmarks.
Yes.
Today we're talking about the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
So many night watchmen and museum staff have claimed to have seen unidentifiable figures and heard ghostly footsteps echoing in the halls of the Smithsonian.
It sounds terrifying.
In 1900, the Washington Post even wrote an article about the spooky sightings. The most active ghost, according to the Washington Post, was that of the Smithsonian's first curator and its second secretary, Spencer Fullerton Baird.
Oh.
Nearly all of the Smithsonian's night watchmen had reported seeing the ghost of Baird.
Is that right? Just wandering around?
Yeah. Though his figure disappeared if a passerby tried to chat with him. Why you try to chat up a ghost? I don't know.
Doesn't like conversation. That's fine.
The spirit of Baird's predecessor, Secretary Joseph Henry, was a frequent visitor too, and sightings have continued throughout the years, with museum staffers even still today claiming to have seen other recognizable phantoms, including the founder of the museum, James Smithson.
Oh, James Smithson's wandering around too. Okay. All right.
So the Smithsonian is a group of museums, education, and research centers, the largest such complex in the world, with historical holdings of over 157 million items.
That's a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of stuff.
It was founded on August 10th, 1846, and named for its founding donor, British scientist James Smithson. Now, Smithson left his fortune to his nephew, but it stipulated that if his nephew were to die without heirs, that it would be used to found in Washington, under the name of the Smithsonian Institution, an establishment for the increase and diffusion of knowledge among men.
Whoa, even that just sounds so smart.
Yeah.
So smart.
So Smithson died in 1829, and his nephew died 6 years later without an heir, setting in motion the bequest to the United States. And in this way, Smithson became the patron of the Smithsonian Institution, despite never actually visiting the United States.
Oh, he was never here?
Never here, but
I didn't even
left all his money.
Was his nephew, was he here, or was his nephew?
That I don't know. I'm not sure. But
just imagine if his nephew had had kids, just he wouldn't be there.
That's right. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. And he'd have no place to haunt.
That's right. That's true. Once the money was in hand, 8 years of congressional haggling ensued over how to interpret Smithson's rather vague mandate. So finally,
right.
President James K. Polk signed the act approving the Smithsonian Institution into law in 1846. By 1855, construction on the main building, called the Castle today, was complete on the National Mall in Washington. It was designated the National Museum in 1858. Today, there are 19 museums and galleries, as well as the National Zoological Park.
Oh, yeah.
And 11 are on the National Mall. The others are located elsewhere in D.C., with 2 more in New York City and 1 in Virginia. And almost all of the institution's 30 million annual visitors are admitted without charge.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, something free.
Yeah.
In Washington, D.C.
So, like I said, the Smithsonian collection includes over 157 million artworks, artifacts, and specimens. The National Museum of Natural History houses 145 million of those. Wow. So 145 million of the 157 is at the Museum of Natural History.
Wow. All right.
Only 1% of the Smithsonian's total collection is on display to the general public. You would need a lot more than 19 buildings to display that many.
So what do they do? They have one of those storage units? There's some storage units around town?
Yeah, like a pod or whatever those are.
Parked in the driveway?
Yeah, I'm sure. Something like that. The Smithsonian Institution has many categories of displays that can be visited at the museums. In 1912, First Lady Helen Herron Taft donated her inauguration gown to the museum to begin the First Lady's gown display at the National Museum of American History, which is one of the Smithsonian's most popular exhibits.
I'm sure.
The museum also displays treasures like the Star-Spangled Banner, the stovepipe hat that was worn by President Abraham Lincoln, the ruby slippers worn by Judy Garland in The Wizard of Oz, and the original teddy bear that was named after President Theodore Roosevelt, and Smokey Bear, who was the inspiration for Smokey the Bear.
Right.
He even lived at the National Zoo there.
Oh, he did?
He did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now, remember earlier I said that Smithson never visited the United States?
You did say that.
So that's only partly true, because after his death in 1829, he was buried in Genoa, Italy. And the cemetery where he was buried was going to be moved in 1905 for the expansion of an adjacent quarry. So in response,
Okay.
Alexander Graham Bell, who was then a regent of the Smithsonian, proposed that Smithson's remains be moved to the museum.
Okay.
So in 1903, he and his wife went to Genoa to exhume the body, and they
Wait,
traveled.
Alexander Graham Bell
Yes.
went to
Yep.
Genoa to
Yep.
exhume the body. Okay,
Yep.
it's a wild story.
And traveled with it for 14 days by sea back to the United States.
Wow.
It was entombed and topped off by a marker in the Smithsonian, where it remains viewable by the general public today.
And so that counts as him.
I mean, so he's here.
He's here.
Right. Right. But when the museum was founded, he had never been there.
Thank you, Alexander Graham Bell.
Right?
You've done so much. I didn't even realize you did that part of it.
No, you know.
It's wild.
Yeah.
History is full of weird stuff. You picked out a record to go along with the Smithsonian, did you, Sarah?
Yeah, so in honor of one of its most popular and iconic items in its collection, the ruby slippers that Judy Garland wore, we're going to play Over the Rainbow by Is.
Is his name. Sarah, thanks so much.
You're welcome. I was not about to try and say his name.
Israel Kamaka.
Yep.
That's a tough one.
Weoli.
Something
I'm going
like
to butcher
that.
it on the radio, so I figured I would just say Is.
That's right. Good job.
Which is,
Good job.
you said it looked like a 12 on my paper.
It did look like a 12 on your paper.
Fine.
Hey, by the way, Wiki Corner brought to you by Niblack Foods in the Genesee Valley Regional Market.
That's right. You know what?
Kinds of good stuff there.
They do. You know what I love is that they have so many local products there.
Yes.
All kinds of different local, like they have like stuff from Rubino's. They have stuff from like different other restaurants around town that bottle their stuff. They've got local hot sauce and local honey and all kinds of really great local products.
And most of their seasoning blends, if not all of them, are manufactured right there at Niblack Foods, either in that building where the store is, or they have a warehouse across the parking lot.
Yep.
And they manufacture it there. A lot of times they manufacture some seasoning blends for some of your favorite restaurants in Rochester, specifically for them.
That's right.
So you get the best stuff from Niblack Foods in the Genesee Valley Regional Market. So check those guys out, and helpful staff there as well. The best.
Yeah.
The absolute best. Are you dressing up for Halloween, Sarah?
You'll find out on Thursday, won't you?
You are not going to dress up. Are you?
I don't know.
I don't think you
I haven't
are.
decided.
I don't think you are.
Well, I know you're not, because you're no fun.
know.
What if I bring
correctly.
in a costume for you to wear during the Wiki Corner?
I don't like costumes.
Just during the Wiki Corner. We stream
Well,
it
what is
now.
it?
I feel like we should, I don't know, but I feel like we stream it now, so we should like,
Well, will it be something
something special.
ridiculous?
I don't know. I haven't really thought that far ahead.
You're just thinking of it now?
It just occurred to me that because people can see us now. See, before, if we wore a costume, who cares, right?
Right.
Nobody could see us
nobody
before.
could see us. We would just look like lunatics in here by ourselves.
By ourselves, yeah.
Yeah. And
So-
whenever Ed or somebody walked by the window, they would think we were lunatics.
Yeah.
Do you ever
I don't know.
get?
I'll have to give it a think.
Yeah, give it a think. Why don't you? Hey, so McDonald's, the big joke is is it the McFlurry machine? I thought it was the ice cream machine.
The ice cream machine's always broken,
Always
which I
broke.
guess like the McFlurry is ice cream, so.
Yeah, but you could always get McFlurries. I feel like it was the ice cream machine.
You could always get McFlurries even when the ice cream machine was broken?
So anyway, well, here's the thing. McDonald's, that problem might be solved. Is that the reason they're always broken is because a company named Taylor had the exclusive rights to repair them, but U.S. Copyright Office just granted an exemption, so now third-party companies can repair them as well. So we'll get them fixed faster.
Oh, boy. That's great news.
Good.
Great
Good for
news.
America. Good for my
Bad
waistline.
news about the listeria or whatever for McDonald's, but great news about the ice cream machine.
If they're good, you take the bad, you take them both, then you have the facts of life. Ready, Sarah?
Yeah.
Here we go. Legends 1027, the biggest hits in the history of the world is and Over the Rainbow. Sarah, do remind us, why do we play that man playing a ukulele?
Well, because we were talking about the Smithsonian Institution, which of course houses Dorothy's ruby red slippers from The Wizard of Oz.
Of course it does,
Yeah.
Sarah. Let's recap 3 things we must take away from today's Wiki Corner. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
All right. The founder of the Smithsonian never visited the United States.
Smithsonian collections include over 157 million items.
And just 1% of the Smithsonian's collection is on display to the public.
That's wild. 157 million items? That's crazy. Only 1%'s ever there. So 99% of 157 million is being stored somewhere. Under lock and key, I assume.
I'm sure.
And so, how often? This is interesting because museums, they do that. They very often own a lot more stuff than what's on display, and they cycle those things in and out regularly.
Right.
Do you think his stuff ever goes missing? Like, do you think they must catalog it pretty well? Right?
I would think so.
Like better than I catalog my Christmas decorations at home.
Sure.
Interesting. Right. Folks want to learn more about the Smithsonian. Sarah, where do they go? What do they do?
Well, you can go to my Wiki blog. If you go to legends1027.com on the homepage, there is a link that takes you to my blog where I post everything I talk about every day.
It's all right there. You should check that out. Plus, this all gets broadcast live on Facebook Live every day at 4:10. You can watch behind the scenes. You can hear behind the scenes on our Facebook page. And it all gets archived as well up at YouTube. Go to YouTube and search Sarah's Wiki Corner for the entire archive up there. It's brought to you by our friends at Niblack Foods in the Genesee Valley Regional Market. Sarah, thanks for coming in today. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Enjoying your theme week so far. Haunted history, 5 American landmarks, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Smithsonian, and more tomorrow.
That's right.
At 4:10. Traffic and weather on the way, and the legendary Drive at 5. That's coming up at 5 o'clock on Legends 1027.